show is brought to you by Safety FM.
Better suit on up 'cause it's about to get real. Never ever seen a thing like this reveal. Hold on tight, give up the fight, embrace yourself. It is coming and you want it down. So fresh. So fresh. So fresh, so fresh. I can contain this piece that's made a house, a home inside of me. It's never held me back 'cause it's the fuel that inspires me. Some may call it a dream, but I call it my destiny. I give it all it got, now it's my time to go.
The following program is rated MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, so true, and I love it every time that I hear it, that's for sure. Anyways, how are you? How was your weekend? How excited are you that today we get to start it all off again and do it over and over and over? You know, it's some exciting times. Anyways, today's Monday, February the 26th of 2024, day 57th of the year, and only 309 days remaining. We are coming to you live from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM, and we are hanging out with our friends and colleagues over there.
Radio. USA, Canada, UK.
Oh, yes, you know how it goes. We hang out here, we do stuff there, and we're a little bit of everywhere. That's just kind of the way that it is. So our show is a little bit different. We talk about safety in the news and safety. It's kind of what we go about. There is a video stream format of it that you can find on safetyfm.com if you go under visual radio. That's visual radio. Also, we're on the different streamers, on the different social media platforms. Of course, radio show first. So you can find us on the Safety FM app, on the Safety FM website, or you can go to radiobig.fm. And, of course, find us on iTunes, iHeartRadio. You know, all the little streamer-emers that have radio stuff. We're there. Because, you know, that's what we do. We hang out and do our thing. That's for sure. So, as we talk about safety in the news, we bring in some professional broadcasters that know exactly what to talk about, because I'm clueless in Seattle as we do our thing. And that's it. That's kind of how the show goes. And then you get to interact with the show if you want to by going to callinradio.com. There you go, callinradio.com. Really, that's it. That's the simplicity of, of what the hell's going on. That's it. So why don't we do this? Why don't we start talking right away about what the hell was trending?
Here is what was trending. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so as I take a look at the trends of the ends, Mercedes-Benz backpedals on the EV plans. We'll talk about that as we get into the shit list. Also, Olivia Rodrigo turns 21, and Elle Macpherson has discovered a secret to looking more youthful. Cillian Murphy reveals a freak accident that he suffered while filming Oppenheimer. Also, King Charles is humbled by the outpouring of support over his cancer diagnosis. We'll talk about that as we get into the Royales. And I'm not talking about Royale with cheese either, so let's not get too confused. So with that being said, I have Mark Mayfield waiting. He's interested in coming in, taking over, and doing his thing. So if you're interested, I'm interested. That's for sure. So why don't we get into some news business? Because there's so much horror business running late at night.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
NBC News Radio, I'm Mark Mayfield. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says his country needs more weapons from allies in its continued fight against Russia. Trey Thomas reports.
In an interview with NBC News, Zelensky said Russian President Vladimir Putin is looking to continue his war further into Europe and that he will do it until 2030.
If to give us a strong package in one time, our steps will be more strong on the battlefield and we will win.
Saturday marked 2 years since Russia invaded Ukraine. I'm Trey Thomas.
President Biden is set to host congressional leaders Tuesday to discuss funding for Ukraine and ways to avoid a government shutdown. Speaker Mike Johnson, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, and House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries will be on hand to highlight the urgency of passing the bipartisan national security supplemental. According to the White House, Congress will return to D.C. this week, facing deadlines for funding the government. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says victory is within reach once its operation in Rafah is completed.
Unless we have total victory, we can't have peace. We can't leave Hamas in place. We can't leave a quarter of Hamas battalions in Rafah and say, well, that's fine.
Speaking on CBS Face the Nation, Netanyahu said the military operation involves evacuating Palestinian civilians from Rafah. It's estimated that there are more than 1 million Palestinian civilians in that region of Gaza. Netanyahu noted he is still open to a hostage release deal through negotiations and would delay the Rafah operation. And the man charged in the kidnapping and murder of a Georgia nursing student is being held without bond. A judge denied bond for 26-year-old Jose Ibarra during his first court appearance Saturday morning. He was arrested Friday, a day after Laken Riley's body was found in a wooded area on the University of Georgia campus. You're listening to the latest from NBC News Radio.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in the UK, I'm John Beaver. As junior doctors go on strike again in the UK, in South Korea, a mass walkout by trainee doctors is entering its second week, stoking fears of a deepening medical crisis. A woman in Pakistan had to be saved from a mob in Lahore over accusations of blasphemy. Arabic calligraphy on her dress had been mistaken for religious text. And anti-Muslim hate speech in India soared by 62% in the second half of last year, according to new data.
Safety never sounded so terrible. Rated R Safety Show.
Senator Tammy Duckworth is slamming the Alabama Supreme Court following its ruling that classified frozen embryos to be children.
I'm devastated for all those families that are trying to start families.
Speaking on ABC's This Week, the Illinois Democrat also blasted Republicans who support the ruling. Duckworth said Republicans considered the rights of a fertilized egg to be more important than the rights of a woman. She added that she holds former President Trump responsible for leading efforts to eliminate women's reproductive rights. Nikki Haley is vowing to stay in the presidential race despite losing the Republican primary over the weekend in South Carolina, where she served as governor. She says the idea is to give GOP voters an option other than former President Trump. Haley told supporters she's a woman of her word and will continue running despite yet another loss. The body of the late Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny has been released to his mother. Scott Carr has more.
A family spokesperson confirms the release of Navalny's body, but did not have any information about any funeral for the 47-year-old longtime critic of Russian President Vladimir Putin. Navalny died suddenly at a maximum security Russian prison. President Joe Biden has joined with other Western leaders in blaming Putin for Navalny's death, and the president has since announced an additional 500 economic sanctions placed against Russia. I'm Scott Carr.
AT&T is going to provide customers affected by Thursday's network outage a $5 credit. In a statement on its website, the cellular provider said that customers will receive it within 2 billing cycles. And Oppenheimer was the big winner at the Screen Actors Guild Awards. The 30th annual SAG Awards were held Saturday night in Los Angeles, honoring last year's best performances in both film and television. The historical film about the making of the atom bomb won for Best Lead Cast, and stars Cillian Murphy won for Best Actor and Robert Downey Jr. won for Best Supporting Actor. Best Actress went to Lily Gladstone for Killers of the Flower Moon, and Best Supporting Actress was awarded to Divine Joy Randolph for The Holdovers. Mark Mayfield, NBC News Radio.
We are now video streaming the Rated R Safety Show. I don't know why our host has a face for radio. Rated R Safety Show.
I know you all want to hit your revenue targets and get the launch done. Well, making sure that your team knows what to do and how to do it is a huge part of it. So I'm sure that you all do different kinds of training, and I'm willing to bet that you probably use PowerPoint, Zoom, etc. I also bet that when you get someone droning on about a topic using these tools, you probably zone out. And your team does too. I mean, it is a reality of what happens. That's why I strongly recommend a tool called Articulate 360. That makes it so easy to whip together interactive, really beautiful e-learnings that really engages people and gets info across. You can create short-form micro-learning, super interactive courses, and really whatever you need when you're in their site. Then with a couple of clicks, you can send it out and check on it and see the progress of your team. Your team can also check back on the training anytime they want in a super simple portal. Literally everyone uses Articulate. Over 120,000 companies and all 100 Fortune 100 companies. Check it out at articulate.com/360 to start a free trial. That's articulate.com/360 to start your free trial. And don't forget to tell them that I was the one that sent you there.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacky? Safety trainers still training and warped version. How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month, and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
You are listening to a renowned safety expert, Dr. Jay Allen, on Safety FM. Changing safety cultures, one broadcast and one podcast at a time. Join the fun on social media and find us on Facebook at Safety FM.
Yeah, there you go. Do that while you're listening to the Rated R Safety Show. Tell me how that goes for you. Anyway, let's take a look. 14 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely Monday and doing our thing. That's for sure. So with that being said, let's get into the move and the groove of the stuff. Police in Georgia have arrested a Venezuelan national in connection to the murder of a college student in Lincoln Riley late last week. Riley was found dead just hours after she didn't return to from a run. So, Barra, who crossed into the country illegally in September of 2022, was released into the U.S. on parole and faces charges of felony murder, false imprisonment, and kidnapping. So far, no word on motive. Officials describe Ibarra as an individual who woke up with bad intentions. This is according to CNN. Woke up with bad intentions. I mean, I guess that's a source of wording when you start thinking about it in regards to how that one worked out. Anyways, Mercedes-Benz has pulled back on its commitment to only manufacture electric vehicles starting in 2030. In 2021, the car maker did include the caveat that the EV commitment extended where market conditions allow. Now the company forecasts that EVs and hybrids will components only about half of the sales by the end of the decade, and it will continue to produce new versions of existing gas-powered vehicles in the meantime. Meanwhile, Mercedes reported a 21% decline in net profits in the fourth quarter last year. Overall, EV sales composed of 21.8% of its overall revenue. So there you go. So what do you think about this whole EV thing? In regards of you're seeing some of the market wanting to adapt it, seeing some other portions of the market not wanting to adapt. I mean, of course, we're going to have the early adopters because that's always part of the gig. I mean, let's just not lie on what it is. But when you take a look at it and go, big picture, is this going to be something that's going to sink in? I mean, right now, let's say that you have an electric vehicle that is on a fast charger, you know, the better well-known ones. What is it? It's like 20 minutes, 25 minutes, let's say half an hour for 80% of the battery charge. And normal fuel, you know, putting fuel inside of a vehicle, what are we talking about? Let's say 5 minutes. So do you think that they'll start taking off when you're closer? And plus the range anxiety issue is the other portion. I mean, range anxiety is real in regards of when you're driving the thing. I mean, I'll tell you, I was out in Vegas last year and did not realize that if the car got too hot, it automatically turned on by itself even when it's parked to cool down the battery. I mean, and I get it, but that's going to compromise your range as well. So, I don't know. A lot of things still going on there, that's for sure. Anyway, Sam Bankman-Fried formally changed his legal representation during a court appearance last week in anticipation of his sentencing in March. A reporter in the room noted that SBF had lost a good bit of weight. He still brought in some neurotic, nervous energy, though, tapping his foot as he answered questions to the judge. Sentencing is scheduled for March the 28th. This is according to ABC News, so there you go. Also, you too can live like Barbie, and it's time for the signature pink Mattel-branded flip phone. Nokia has rolled out the device this summer. Insider said that it sounds similar to the popular Motorola Razr model of the 2000, but it won't have many of the smartphone features common today phones. The manufacturer is taking the simplified model in stride, saying that it caters to a style, nostalgia, and much-needed digital detox. This is according to Engadget. So if you need digital detox, wouldn't you think it would just be better just to ditch the phone?
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Why am I the one getting compromised now? Anyways, researchers from New Mexico, Highland University, have identified a new species of giant anaconda. The northern green anaconda is in South America. Yeah, the original was believed to be the animal known as a green anaconda encompass one species, but new research shows that there is 5.5% difference genetically between what is known and as the northern green anaconda and the southern counterpart. For comparison purposes, humans and chimps are separated by about 2%. The find has been published in the Journal of MDPI Diversity, and it will serve as the basis of further investigations into other serpent species evolution, such as the yellow anaconda. This is via NMHHU, Fox News, and Nat Geo. Yeah, that's some important stuff to talk about. Let's just not lie here. So there you go. Some stuff going on. Also, actor Kenneth Mitchell has died. He passed away on Saturday after years-long battles with ALS. Mitchell is best known for his role in Jericho in Star Trek Star Trek Discovery. He was only 49 at the time of his passing. You hear news like that, and you never know what to say. That's for sure. So let's talk about the box office real quick because some people were going to want to know about that, no doubt there. So coming in at number 10 was The Chosen series, season 4, episodes 4 through 6, $1.8 million. I'm still not understanding that too much. So why are they airing this at the movie theater? But I don't get it. So I'll have to probably look that up. Also, Beekeeper came in at number 9, $1.9 million. Driveway Dolls, $2.4 million. Number 7 was Wonka with $2.5 million. Number 6, Argyle, $2.8 million. At number 5, Migration, $3 million. At number 4, Madam Web, $6 million. Number 3, Ordinary Angel, $6.5 million. And number 2, Demon Slayer. Yeah, it came in at $11.5 million. And Bob Marley remained at the number 1 spot with 13.5 million buckaroos. So there you go. Tired of the counterfeit bucks. So there you go. What do you think? I mean, does it matter? Does it not matter? Do you care about the box office? I don't know. I just share it because people wanted to do it. So now we share it. What we do. So here you go. Let's bring some Erin Ryan out into our lives and let her tell us about Money Matters.
Lawmakers will return to Capitol Hill on Wednesday with just 3 days to pass a government funding bill and avoid a partial government shutdown. Scott Carr has more from Washington.
Despite what the so-called Republican Freedom Caucus in the House has called for, reports say House Speaker Mike Johnson has been pessimistic about using a stopgap bill to extend the deadline. Johnson said Friday he would move a set of 4 appropriations bills forward as a single package ahead of the first deadline Friday, while Democratic House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries said again the Democrats are willing to find common ground on legislation, including ways to keep the government funded.
The Navy Federal Credit Union has been accused of using racially motivated lending practices. Lisa Taylor has more.
The world's largest credit union has been named in a class action lawsuit claiming they approved white mortgage applications at a higher rate than black and Latino applicants. The credit union has been under fire before for its lending practices, most recently in December. Plaintiffs in the lawsuit claim Navy Federal denied mortgage applications because of race. Navy Federal has released a statement standing by their mortgage loan practices and say they look forward to responding to claims in court.
A New York City jury is finding NRA leader and former head Wayne LaPierre guilty of corruption.
New York Attorney General Letitia James says LaPierre and the leaders misused financial resources and ignored whistleblowers. The defendants may have to repay the NRA and be barred from returning to leadership positions in the organization. James just completed her civil prosecution of former President Trump. I'm Brian Shook.
The Bob Marley biopic tops the box office for a second week in a row. Bob Marley One Love took in an estimated $13.5 million in the second week to edge out a Japanese anime film. Demon Slayer opened in second place with nearly $11.6 million. Ordinary Angels opened in third place with $6.5 million. Consumer and business news, Erin Royale, NBC News Radio.
Okay, thank you, Erin Royale, for that information right there on what the hell's going on, because we always want to know, Yeah, I want to know. So there you go. The Dow gained about 62 points to close at 39,131 on Monday, or really on Friday, because today is Monday. The S&P was up by 1 point to close at 5,088, and the NASDAQ lost about 44 points to close at 15,996. West Texas Intermediate closed at $76 a barrel, and Brent crude was at $80 a barrel. The national average price of a gallon of gas was $3.62. Bitcoin was trading around 51,700, and there was more than 2,720 flights delayed within, into, and out of the United States, with about 30 such cancellations. Tuesday night's Mega Million. Yeah, you ready for this? Drawing will be for $563 million jackpot, or a $265.4 million cash payout. Tonight's Powerball drawing will be for $391 million, or a $185.6 million payout. So if you want to play the game, there is opportunities still to do so. So there you go. What do we want to get in here? Let's see. We got some stuff. I don't want to talk about, let's see. We're not going to talk about the show business, about what's going on with the Screen Actors Guild. We'll wait with that particular one. We'll do that in hour 2. But let's talk about some of the stuff that I mentioned at the top of the hour. Olivia Rodrigo has found quite a way to celebrate turning 21. While on her Guts tour, she picked up a 6-pack and some cigarettes to mark the occasion. Rodrigo told the crowd at California show last week that she didn't knock back a brew or light up, though. I just bought it because it was I fucking could. Yeah. She used the story to step a song, Teenage Dream, adding, I think that I know it, that it's scary. And just life just kind of gets better at the end. So there you go. So there's that. Also, Elle McPherson says the secret of aging is, well, sleeping buck naked. The model told Style DNA podcast that I go to bed with a smile. I got to bed with a happy. I go to bed with a happy heart, an eye mask, and no clothes, and my skin. She also says that she swears that by getting at least 8 hours a night, her morning routine includes 5 a.m. bike ride to the beach, a quick swim in the ocean, and morning yoga, and then more exercise. Hold on. So then it sounds like more than just sleeping naked for sure. I mean, I don't know. That's some thoughts. I mean, let's see. 5 a.m. bike ride to the beach, a quick swim in the ocean, morning yoga, and then more exercise. Can we get some hours, like length of time? Like, how long is that bike ride? The morning swim, how long is that? And that's an ocean morning swim, I'm assuming. How long is the morning yoga and exercise? Because I mean, that's a lot of work. And if you're doing a bike ride at 5 a.m., how early are you getting up? I mean, there's a lot of stuff to think about here. A lot of it. I just don't even know what to say anymore.
It's this show, and they just make fun of a whole bunch of people. It's just too funny. It's too stupid.
Rated R Safety Show.
Yeah, Rated R Safety Show. You know how it goes around here. A lot of stuff always going around as we're talking. Also, the San Diego Zoo Wildlife Alliance has rehabbed 3 baby owls. Bree Tennis has more.
The agency says the 3 burrowing owlets were found last year malnourished, dehydrated, and with parasites. They say the owlets were found without parents in 2 separate nests and were not expected to survive without help. After months of rehab, the research team has released the trio back into the wild. Burrowing owls are about 10 inches tall and are listed as a species of concern in California. I'm Bree Tennis.
Okay, thank you, Bree Tennis, for that information right there as we're going through it. Take a listen to this. Coming out of Pearson Township, Michigan, Tri-County middle school students at Howard City have received $12,000 of technology from Samsung as they won the company Solve for Tomorrow STEM competition. They are developing trash cans that give out tickets to people for throwing away garbage in a prototype stage of the project.
It's important because our students know that they can do really big things, and they know that they can do things that sometimes push them outside of their comfort zone. But in doing those things, they're learning from it every step of the way.
The technology instructor, Christina Adamson, who says that she didn't even know about the competition before the school year began, and they won the state contest. The students are working with 3-minute videos of their invention, and will send them next month for the chance of a $50,000 prize package if they get to the top 10 nationally. Alicia David is an 8th grade student in Tri-County Middle School working on their project to create the trash cans to give tickets to people for throwing away waste.
I'm very excited about it, and like I said, it will definitely help future, especially because when I'm older, I want to code, so this definitely helps me a lot.
Yeah, look into that coding stuff now, because I will tell you, coding will be the new superpower if you don't already think that it is now. I mean, that's a whole other story. In regards to when you start looking into coding. Here, do you know anybody who's a coder? I do. And I will tell you, I'm always amazed at what she's able to pull off. There is no doubt about that. So there you go. Anyways, the Grand Rapids City Commission has voted to allow housing to be added along around 30 acres across the Grand River. Christine Tuckerson is in the city planning director. Take a listen.
We've got a significant need for new housing, and you know, the development potential and the opportunity that this decision creates is significant.
Okay, the land that is now available along the front of the Scribner Avenues and Leonard Street to 6th Street, the land is currently home to the light industrial businesses. Also, the director says that the west side of the city is pleased the city commission has approved the residential development on the Grand River. Take a listen.
We know that there's a lot of opportunity. There's a lot of development interest in the city of Grand Rapids, which is just really exciting, and we should be proud of that.
Yeah, I'm very excited about it too. So there you go. Anyways, take a listen to this one. Here is the road to the White House, because why not talk about it?
Road to the White House 2024. A Democrat whose name has been touted as a presidential candidate is all in for President Biden getting reelected to a second term.
All because of Biden's wisdom, because of his temperance, his capacity to lead in a bipartisan manner, which is an underrepresented point.
Speaking on NBC's Meet the Press, California Governor Gavin Newsom says Biden has an extraordinary record as president. Newsom called the U.S. economy booming under Biden, noting that 15 million jobs have been added in his first 3 years. He added he's confident Biden would defeat former President Trump in a general election. And Nikki Haley says she's staying in the presidential race despite losing the South Carolina primary to give Republicans an option other than former President Trump. I'm Mark Mayfield.
Okay, thank you, Mark Mayfield. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on inside of that, into the road to the White House, because, you know, that's the way that it goes. So let's keep it lingering here, because, hey, why not? Anyways, a black Republican lawmaker is defending former President Trump of the remarks of the NAACP and others that have called it racist. Take a listen.
Well, dang, if the government's going after him with foolishness, he can't be that bad, especially considering the fact that Joe Biden is terrible at his job.
Speaking on NBC's Meet the Press, Florida Congressman Byron Donalds addresses Trump's comments on Friday that the black voters support him because of his indictments. Donalds called the indictments against Trump that politicians' persecution, and said that something that the blacks deal with in injustice system. The former president recently confirmed the Representative Donalds in his short list of possible running mates. Also, Byron Donalds talked about the former President Trump's comments on Friday that for black voters who support him because of the indictments. Take a listen.
This is political persecution from the Department of Justice and from radical DAs throughout our country. This is something similar that black people had to deal with the justice system themselves.
Oh, what a time, huh? What a time. Let's do one more. I always find these so interesting because it's amazing what people will talk about in regards to when they go into some of these meetings. Take a listen to this one. 2 congressmen are trying to get a bipartisan border security and foreign aid bill onto the House floor. More from Mark Mayfield.
Republican Congressman Brian Fitzpatrick of Pennsylvania and Democratic Congressman Jared Golden of Maine said on CBS Face the Nation they believe their bill can get the necessary 218 votes in the House. They both agreed a one-party solution likely will not get the votes, and a bill needs to grow out of the middle to be able to pass. The bill is an alternative to a Senate bill that House Speaker Mike Johnson has already called dead in the water. I'm Mark Mayfield.
Welcome to Dead in the Water. There you go.com. Take a listen to this. Texas Governor Greg Abbott doesn't support a presidential executive order that would restrict asylum for illegal immigrants. Take a listen.
If he were to grant asylum after migrants cross the border illegally, that would be authorizing illegal immigration, and that would cause chaos.
Speaking on CNN State of the Union, Abbott says the executive order would still allow immigrants to cross the border illegally. On another subject, the Texas Republican expressed his support for former President Trump, but indicated that he has no intention of trying to become Trump's running mate. Abbott said that he can best support Trump by continuing to serve as governor in Texas. Also, Greg Abbott says that he has no intentions of trying to become the president's running mate, but take a listen to what he said.
The right vice presidential candidate who will help President Trump get elected and then help him be successful when he does get elected.
He also said that there is no way that he can, says that there is only one way that he can help Trump. Take a listen.
By being the leader of Texas, helping him achieve what he needs to achieve in the great state of Texas.
The great state of Texas, you know, the Republic of Texas, if you don't know that. If you might want to look at your Texas history, yeah, I served some time of reading that stuff back in the day. Anyways, with that being said, why don't we do our thing that we should be doing already, that we know as our main story? Yeah, I think it's time to do that.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Oh, the world of politics. You want to know something? That is not what our main story is about, but damn, it seemed like we came close into getting into that, because all we talked about was politics, and some more politics, it feels like. But, wow, you know, there is kind of that weird tie-in as we start talking about this, because you work in an environment and I work in an environment that is heavily political. And I'm not talking about, you know, party lines here. I'm not talking about, doing the things that you would think about a Democrat or a Libertarian or a Republican or anything along those lines. What I'm talking about is the politics that happen at work. Now, think about this real quick. And some people go, hold on, I'm not in that level of the food chain. You're always in that level of food chain, regardless of what you're talking about. Because, listen, there's always politics going on in work. And, it could be one of the gals, one of the boys, whatever you want to consider yourself, but there's always something working against the system. Just kind of the way that it goes. I remember reading a book many, many, many years ago. I shouldn't probably say that many years ago, probably within the last 10. And it was called The Trouble with Work. And it was a really good book until you kind of realize what they were trying to do, because it was taking a look at all these different things that can happen in work, but it was kind of meant for the book to make you feel like something was holding you down. And it was weird on how it worked, but it was a good book overall. I can't lie about that. But I take a look at some of the stuff now, and I go, why is everything so heavily political inside of the workplace? And sometimes you have these drastic events that have to take place for there to be an emphasis on safety. Now, I want you to think about this for a moment. Think about a time that at your workplace, somebody was either injured or a catastrophic event occurred. Now, if you take a look at the average, more than likely, the next 6 weeks were pretty emotional in regards that you had an event and everything was focused towards that event going forward. And I'm talking about focus from like, oh my God, it is the end of the world, to, it's okay. I mean, we can work around it. It's okay. We can do things, differently. We can do things that, we can still have that minor issue or issue, depending on how you want to take a look at it. And that's not the political side. That is the side related to having an emotional event there. But when you start taking a look at politics, funny on how things can hold somebody back inside of a work organization because of political reasoning. Oh, I don't like this person. That person doesn't like this. We don't do that because, if this person gets there, it's going to take this other person out of power. And why should that even be portion of what the hell's going on in the work environment? I will tell you, I worked at a place that the CEO was also the majority stockholder of the company. And in a weird political move, they said, let's go ahead and buy your stocks, and then we're going to buy your stock at a higher price and then allow you to rebuy them back in regards of, what you're doing. Not a problem. So the guy that's the CEO and the chairman of the board at the time says, okay, cool. Hey, I'm going to make some money off of this deal. So he sells his stock to the company back. And then in return, they say, no, we're not going to resell them to you. So, loss of power, political play, planned out ahead of time before it all occurred. Guy has a world-renowned company, and all of a sudden he loses it in a political move. Interesting on how those things work. Politically planned, politically tried, politically admired. But you take a look at this and you go, why is there so much politics when it comes to work? I thought at the end of the day, people are trying to make money and we're trying to make these places better. Isn't that the goal? Isn't that what we're attempting to do? Isn't life supposed to be grand? Why is there so much politicking and positioning all over the place in everything that we do? I know, kind of a weird one for today, but think about it for a moment. Why do things get so weird at work when it comes to politics? And why do things get so weird when you start talking politics, like general politics with people? Weird times.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
Let me talk to you real quick. What is HelloFresh? With HelloFresh, you get farm fresh, portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. Skip trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. That's why it's America's #1 meal kit. Spend your time this month shopping for gifts and sipping cocoa, not stuck at the checkout line. Sign up for HelloFresh and get everything you need to whip up a fresh, tasty meal delivered to your door. Just choose your recipes, select a delivery date, and relax knowing the dinner is on its way. HelloFresh has over 45 recipes and more than 100 seasonal add-on items to choose from every week, so it's easier than ever to find something everyone will enjoy. Go to HelloFresh.com/SafetyFM-free. That's HelloFresh.com/SafetyFM-free to use the code SafetyFM-free for free breakfast for life. One breakfast item per box while subscription is active. That's free breakfast for life at HelloFresh.com/SafetyFM-free with code SafetyFM-free. And don't forget that this is why HelloFresh is America's #1 meal kit. It's always amazing to me on how technology changes, and so does the environment that we're in. And cyber criminals will do everything they can to take advantage of a system. If you don't own a home, you have nothing to fear about what I'm about to tell you. But if you own a home like me and you don't guard it with home title lock, you're inviting home title fraud. One of the fastest growing crimes. Cyber thieves around the world know our home values are sky high at the moment, and that makes us a target. The crime is scary simple. Let me explain it to you real quick. A cyber thief simply forges your name on a property sale form and refiles it. That's it. Now he or she is on the deed of your home and you have no idea that you're a victim. Then the person takes out a loan on your home and vanishes, leaving you to prove to the police that you didn't commit bank fraud. Home Title Locks puts a virtual barrier around your home title. The instant they detect any kind of tampering or anybody messing around, they help shut it down. Look, if you have equity in your home, you need to guard it the best way that you can. Some people might even go as far as guarding it with their life. Go to HometitleLock.com and register your address to see if you already are a victim. And enter the code RADIO. That's RADIO. That's the code RADIO for 30 days free of protection. That's code RADIO at HometitleLock.com.
Radio Big. Streaming 24/7 at RadioBig.fm.
Hey, are you tired of hanging around and talking about safety in a boring kind of format? Well, I got something for you. If you haven't hung out with us yet at SafetyFM.com, I'm going to encourage you to do so. Yeah, if you come out to Safety FM, you can come hang out with all kinds of safety professionals. Some are safety professionals, some are just people that are talking about safety. But we want to do it in a format that makes it fun and entertaining. If you're kind of trying to figure out what the FM portion is, well, we're a radio station and also a podcast network. You can come out, hang out, listen to my show, The Jay Allen Show. You can listen to Todd Conklin with the pre-accident investigation, Blaine J. Hoffman with the Safety Pro, the Hop Nerd, Sam Goodman, just to name a few on what can be found on the station. Different things for different people, trying to bring safety in an entertaining form. SafetyFM.com. Go to the website, download the app, and carry it with you all day long. SafetyFM.com. We'll be waiting for you.
Prepare yourself.
We are now being distributed on iHeartRadio. Listen on iHeartRadio app. Radio Big.
Okay, let's go.
Anything like this reveal. Hold on tight, give up the fight, embrace yourself. It's coming in and wall it down. So fresh. Made a house of home inside of me. It's never held me back, cause it's the fuel that inspires me. Some may call it a dream, I call it my destiny. I give it all I got, now it's my time to reap. So fresh. So fresh.
here we are, 44 minutes past the top of the hour, still rocking out with our... Oh, no, don't say that part. On the Rated R Safety Show. Yeah, 44 minutes past the top of the hour. This right here, Jared Mark. So fresh. Yeah, the song's readily available on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music. Would like to thank Jared Mark for allowing us to play this here on the Rated R Safety Show. Yeah, it's so fresh. Yeah, so fresh. Good stuff. So there you go. Thanks to Jared Mark. One more time for this one. You know, we're always playing some of the newer stuff that's going on. Always wanting, some of these newer artists to take a gander. You take a listen to them. We're trying to give you the freshness. So let's get back into it. Let's get into what the hell this show is about. Let's talk about the most important thing that I will ever tell you in my lifetime. And this is about my friends at To Right Love on Her Arms. No matter what you're facing, you deserve to be connected to help. And To Right Love on Her Arms wants you to know that people have been where you are now, and things can get better. Healing is possible. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to TWLOHA.com. That's TWLOHA.com. And click on the section that says Find Help. Once you get there, all kinds of information readily available for you. You can find out information, anything related to and from addiction, depression, anxiety, eating disorders, self-injury, suicide, trauma, grief support, resources, just to name a few. All you have to do, like I said, is go to TWLOHA.com and click on the section that says Find Help. TWLOHA.com. Yep, there you go. To Right Love on Her Arms. Let's talk about some other stuff that is going on inside of the multiverse, because that's what we do here. We talk about the multiverse all the time. You just have to catch it. Anyways, take a listen to this. Major League Baseball spring training is now well underway in Florida and Arizona, but there's a new wrinkle in their players' hope to get sorted out pronto. It would seem that the new uniforms being, sported by players contains the unfortunate flaw of being see-through in several teams and have white pants and that have made it more or less than ideal for photos. The MLB Players Association has confirmed that there is relaying concerns about the new pants in the league. The complaints that the pants are somewhat see-through, though. The broader concern is about the uniform, which is supposedly are designed to improve mobility and providing 25% more stretch, and with breathable lettering, emblems, and numbering. Some players say that they have gone on the record saying that the new style uniforms cheaper and faded. See-through, though, well, some players do have spring training with the intentions of showing off their stuff. So see-through pants, as far as I'm concerned, religion should be left out of baseball. Yeah, think about that. You'll get it. You'll get it. So there you go. Well, what a weird thing, huh? So now the concern is I have see-through pants at a while playing baseball. I mean, how weird do we get about uniforms? Like, did nobody check these things? I always get so weirded out about some of this stuff. It's like somebody had to know that it wasn't grand in regards of the new uniform. I'm just saying. Anyways, let's continue on to some other things, not bigger and better, just some other things altogether. Take a listen to this. The chairperson for the Republican National Committee is stepping down. Michael Kastner has more.
Ronna McDaniel announced that she'll give up the post next month after former President Donald Trump endorsed North Carolina GOP Chairman Michael Whatley for the national job. McDaniel said serving as chair for 7 years has been an honor and privilege. Trump told Fox News this month that some changes were likely at the RNC when he was questioned about McDaniel's performance. I'm Michael Kastner.
Okay, so there you go. There's that right there. Also, local parks rec departments are recruiting summer staff. Take a listen to this.
Lifeguards at the Clive Aquatic Center to help us with park maintenance, some of the recreational programs and summer camps that we operate.
Okay, Richard Brown and Clive Leisure Services, they need more than 110 people at the Clive Aquatic Center. He says the newly certified lifeguards will be reimbursed for their training costs if they work all summer. Richard Brown with Clive Leisure Services says the city is starting to recruit lifeguards at the Aquatic Center. Take a listen.
So we need over 110 people just to operate the Aquatic Center in the summer.
110 people. I mean, that's a lot of people to be, lifeguarding. But hey, I guess that's a good time in the summer, depending on what exactly you're looking on doing. There is no doubt about that. Why do I have so much politics stuff today? There's so many politics things. It's not even funny. Let's do this one. A rally was held on Saturday, making a 2-year anniversary of the Russia-Ukraine war. Jacqueline Carl has more.
Hundreds of supporters rallied in Times Square and called on the U.S. to continue to support Ukraine in its efforts to fight against the Russian invasion of their country. Many chanted, draped themselves in the Ukrainian flag, and some even laid on the pavement in remembrance of all the lives lost. Protesters came together in an effort to get the U.S. to pass a $95 billion Senate-approved foreign aid package that includes critical military aid for Ukraine. The bill still needs to pass the House. Mayor Eric Adams raised a Ukrainian flag in a ceremony he held to mark the anniversary in Lower Manhattan. Jacqueline Carl, NBC News Radio, New York.
Okay, thank you for that information right there. A taxi driver in Queens is recovering after being slashed up for a fare payment. Take a listen to this.
Police say it happened back on February 11th at 2 o'clock in the morning. The taxi driver was dropping a passenger off on 23rd Avenue in East Elmhurst when he asked the passenger to pay for his ride. In response, the suspect displayed a knife and slashed the cabbie in the neck before taking off. The driver was taken to the hospital where he is expected to be okay. Police are still looking for that suspect. Jonathan O'Halloran, NBC News Radio, New York.
Really? This is what we're getting to for fare evasion now? I mean, come on. Just say I'm not paying and jump out of the car. You don't need to slash a dude or anything crazy. That's just something. NORAD says the NORAD says that the high-altitude balloon that they intercepted over Utah was likely a hobby balloon. Take a listen to what Tammy Trujillo has to say.
The balloon was detected at an altitude of about 44,000 feet Friday, but NORAD determined it didn't present any sort of threat to national security. The balloon was described as being 50 feet tall, carrying a small 2-foot cube. On Saturday, NORAD made another announcement saying the balloon was monitored from the ground until it left U.S. airspace overnight. The news comes a year after the U.S. tracked a possible Chinese surveillance balloon for multiple days in American airspace. I'm Tammy Trujillo.
Okay, thank you, Tammy Trujillo, for that. Let's do something a little bit more motivating. Let's bring some John Smalls inside of here and let him tell us a little bit, yes, just a tiny bit, about the Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today's quote was submitted by William. J. Mike Fields said, "Surround yourself with people who believe in you, those who push you to become better and encourage your growth." I love this. I've worked with people who build you up, and I've worked with people who tear you down. Can you guess which group was better to work with? No question. The people who are there to help you learn and grow are the very best people to be around. I've always tried that, but I know a few times that I can think of where I failed to try all that I could have. I remember a personality conflict where I just couldn't get along with a guy. I tried and tried, but he just didn't like me, and nothing I did could change it, so I just gave up on him. I kind of wish I hadn't. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
More than 4 in 10 Americans know someone who's died of a drug overdose. The nonprofit think tank RAND Corporation says while the overdose crisis has wide-ranging negative impacts on people who use drugs, little research has looked into the experiences of those left behind. The CDC says contagious stomach bugs, including norovirus, are circulating right now, and they're hitting the Northeast especially hard. The CDC says the positivity rate for norovirus, which causes cramps, vomiting, and diarrhea, is more than 15% in the Northeast. A public school in Highland Park, New Jersey, was forced to close and undergo a deep cleaning earlier this month because of norovirus. And doctors at Children's Hospital of Philadelphia say several GI bugs are circulating at the same time. If you do get a stomach bug, doctors recommend drinking lots of fluid to keep from getting dehydrated. Health Updates, Sarah Lee Kessler, NBC News Radio.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Oh, it's something, all right. No doubt about that. 54 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely Monday. Let's talk about some things that happened back on this date as I take a look around. George Zimmerman fatally shoots 17-year-old Tavon Martin. Martin was walking back for a relative's home when Zimmerman, the neighborhood watch coordinator, decided to follow him after calling the police over his concerns about the unknown male wearing a dark-colored hoodie. Zimmerman tried to confront Martin, which led to a physical altercation and ended up with Zimmerman fatally shooting the teen. Zimmerman claims the shooting was self-defense. Protests staged around the U.S. with many in attendance donning hoodies in Martin's honor. That happened back on this date in 2012. If you're looking at some birthdays for today, let's see, Maggie McNeil turns 24, Mariah Leiner turns 25, Taylor Dooley, 31, Teresa Palmer, 38, DeRay Davis, 42, Tim Thomas turns 47, Michael Bolton, well, he turned 71 today. So there you go. That's some birthdays that are going on. If you're looking at some days of the year to celebrate, well, I have some of those. It's National Pistachio Day, National Tell a Fairy Tale Day, National Personal Chef Day, Levi Stratus Day, Play More Cards Day, and For Pete's Sake Day. Yeah, For Pete's Sake Day. Yeah, that's a day that you can celebrate. Yeah, for Pete's sakes. Yeah, you can celebrate a day that's called that. There is no doubt there. Okay, what else do we have? What else do we have before we get you out of here? Why don't we do something? What do we want to do? Let's do Did You Know? Closing your phone's background app does nothing to conserve battery life. Apple says, in fact, that the phone maker recommends only to close apps if it's unresponsive. A recent article in Gizmodo states that the ritual of swiping up on open apps is a waste of time. In 2016, Apple's senior vice president of software engineering confirmed that closing their background apps does not extend your battery life. In fact, most background apps are essentially frozen on your system. Just display the screenshot of them for consistency. As for Android phones, closing background apps actually uses more battery than just leaving them open. However, I have found that deleting TikTok can extend battery life extensively. So there's some things to think about for sure. If you need a random joke for today, let me give you one of those because that might be important to you. Could someone please explain why underwear and socks come in resealable bags, but potato chips don't? Think about it. Think about it for a moment. Also, let's see. What else? If you need a phone starter for today, try this. When do you give a rat's ass? Nobody really appreciates that either. I mean, I'm just saying. Also, if you need something for the water cooler, try this question. If you're average, you get one of these every 3 years. What is it? A computer mouse. That's what that is. So there you go. Once every 3 years. So that's going to sum up our time together. If you want to hang out with me at the top of the hour, I'll be going over to Radio Big for the next couple hours or so, hanging out doing the things that we get to do over there. If you want to stay on Safety FM, you can do that. Sheldon Primus will be coming in, taking over and doing the world of safety consulting that you can learn about from him directly. Anyways, thank you for always being the best part of Safety FM and Radio Big, and that is the listener. Without you, it doesn't make a lot of sense to do what we do around here. No doubt about that. So if I can leave you with a deep thought for today, I would love to leave you with this. No winter lasts forever, and no spring skips its turn. Think about that. That might take you to places that you might care about. There you go. That's going to sum it up for us for today. That is for sure. Anyways, I know who you are.
Duh.
You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.